Hey, what's up, La Familia? You crazy football-loving nutters. This is Ray Hudson, and you are luxuriating in listening to the Inter Miami podcast with the stupefyingly magnificent Jay and Alex. Two lads who are as electrifying as a hairdryer thrown into a hot tub. Stay tuned, because you know what it's going to be. It's going to be magisterial with an amplifier.
The cross goes, he's done it again. Taylor squares it for Victor Ulloa. It's one up. Ulloa and Taylor. Job done for Inter Miami. Led it in by Mole. What? 6. It's 2 for Miami. Damian Lowell doubles the lead. Some days you can just sense something wicked this way it comes.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Inter Miami podcast. We are joined by a very special guest, someone we are very happy to speak with and learn more about, and someone who is one of the few people I've ever come across in life that can make Than turn around and issue a public apology. But we are talking about none other. We've dubbed him the Zen Master. We also thought of maybe the Sticks God, anything. We're still open to interpretation, so maybe he can clarify what nickname he wants us to use. But we're talking about Mr. Drake Callender. How are you doing? Welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on. Super excited to dive into some interesting topics today. I've seen and heard your guys' podcasts here and there, so it's nice to get a little feature. Yeah, man, I'm an open book today, so
all right,
ready for anything.
We've got some fun questions. We're going to learn quite a bit about you, but I guess first question, do you approve officially of the Zen Master, or is there a nickname that you grew up with, or what would you like to be known as outside of your government name?
I'm okay with Zen Master. That was something my teammates kind of put on me this year. Jersey's always been one guys call me DRACO,
Draco.
D.
So we have a Discord, and a lot of people call you Big Draco.
I kind of, I'm kind of chill with anything. So, yeah, I mean, even just Drake or, I think my favorite would probably be DRACO.
Draco? Hey, yeah. we can etch it in stone right now, or just call him by his regular name and cut out all the nicknames. But tell us about, young Drake Callender. What was your youth and upbringing like? Any siblings, any other sports you played as a kid?
Yeah, so I grew up in the suburbs of Sacramento, in Northern California. I have an older brother, Ian. He's like 2.5 years older than me. So we, growing up, spent a lot of time outside. We lived pretty close to the American River. So whether that was going on hikes or trail running or kayaking or cycling, a lot of my youth was spent outside. And then in terms of like sports, I pretty much did everything from swimming, baseball, basketball, taekwondo, disc golf, soccer, basketball. But, I probably enjoyed soccer the most. I think that's kind of why I stuck with it, because I always had the most fun. And you start to realize when you be in baseball season, you're like, oh man, like I wish I was playing soccer. Mm-hmm. That was something that I always looked forward to. And I remember when soccer turned year round, I was always super excited because I was like, all right, I got to do this all the time now. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was just like always just active, very, very active lifestyle. Went to a K through 8 school. So, I was around like the similar group of kids pretty much my entire elementary and middle school experience. Very inclusive. We went on a bunch of field trips, had a really good just like development in like my youth. And yeah, I was always just moving, always moving, doing something.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fair enough. There's a lot to see over in California for sure, especially in that NorCal area. Now, you said you had a brother. Is he older or younger?
He's older. So he's 2.5 years older than me. His name's Ian. He also grew up playing sports, played soccer, played um, through high school into junior college. Still really good player. He doesn't play anymore. But that was one thing that I probably enjoyed the most growing up was me and him would always just go out to the local field or local park and just like pass the ball, play around. And that was just really good for our relationship and also just like good for just like my just skills,
Yeah.
Just to have somebody who also, shares a similar interest and enjoys playing was huge.
And I'm sure that, him being a couple years older, you were playing against kids that were probably a little bit bigger, maybe faster, more developed. And in the long run, that might actually really help that you're kind of playing with a slightly higher level caliber of, I guess, athlete or youth as you were, coming up.
Yeah, well, I remember back in the day, like I started in rec league and then there was select and competitive. I don't think academies had formed yet while I was younger. So I remember it was probably like my first or second year doing select, I was like 11 or 12. And I went to tryouts for like a U14 team and I like fit in. So I always kind of grew up playing with older, more developed guys. And, also again, having an older brother, like his group of friends, we would go out and play. So like I was like exposed to, bigger, faster, stronger, players from like a young age, which I think in the long run helped me out.
And were you always a keeper or was maybe, in your younger days, maybe like a winger or midfielder or wingback?
I didn't start out as keeper. I actually started out as a forward. So I just love to run, and I was taller than everyone. I was fast. So I scored a lot of goals. And then one game, it was actually during a indoor soccer game on turf with like the walls and everything. I played a goalie and there was so much action and I was like slide tackling saves and, I didn't have any gloves. So it was bare hands and I had so much fun. And so from that point on, it was kind of like, all right, I'll play one half on the field and then the next half I'll play in goal. And then over time I started just like, I guess, really enjoying it and having a lot of fun and, was able to like start to like understand like, all right, like this is how I score goals. Then it's like, all right, well then how do I save them? So it's like having like a perspective from a striker ended up helping me out play goalkeeper.
Makes sense, actually. Makes a lot of sense. Well, maybe we'll have to petition for Phil to let you come up, late in the game on a corner kick and get some action. At what age or what point in your life did you have the realization that soccer is what you wanted to focus on and really dedicate, your time and really your life to?
Yeah, so I would say like my sophomore year of high school. I think by then I was just doing soccer and track and field, and like as I was getting older, the sports were getting lesser and lesser. So it came down to soccer and track and field, and I was pretty good at both. And I would say I enjoyed soccer the most, so that's why I decided to pursue it versus other sports. But I had the opportunity to go to a training session with Earthquakes Academy. And from that point on, I realized like, all right, like I can compete with these level of players. I'm being exposed to a different level of play, to better coaching, to better competition. And I just kind of like, made that commitment to like myself, like, all right, like I'm going to go for it and kind of see where it takes me. But yeah, I was around like 16, 17 years old. So fairly, you hear stories of guys committing when they're like, pretty young, but I feel like still I was at a good age to kind of like, be old enough to make that kind of decision.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a kind of classic All-American, all-around athlete. I actually ran track and I'm pretty sure Tham probably holds the shot put record at his high school. What did you run in track and field, or I guess not always running, but what were your activities or events?
Yeah, so it's funny. I actually did the 200 meter dash. I did the long jump. I did the shot put, and I did the 4x100 relay.
Okay.
So we're like brothers because I did shot disc and I did the 4x100.
Okay, there we go.
Look at him. Look at him trying to rekindle some sort of friendship. There we go.
No, it's definitely like, I will say my two favorite events were the long jump and the shot put. I didn't have the spin yet, but I had the one where you're facing the opposite direction.
Yeah,
you kind of slide and turn.
Yeah.
It was always just like, again, like diversifying like my experience as like a track and field athlete. I could have easily just, all right, 200 meter dash, I'm good with just this one, but I wanted to challenge myself in other areas. Mm-hmm. And so that was definitely something that I was able to, like, I guess, use in the sport of soccer, because it was like, all right, like, how am I still challenging myself? It's like, how can I expose myself to different situations, to different shots, different movements that are going to help me out in the game.
So, talking about being able to, look at your surroundings, knowing like what shots you're going to go after, how you're going to react to them. Were there any like goalkeepers growing up that you maybe idolized or molded your game after? Any particular ones you may have followed growing up? Yeah,
so I would say my favorite goalkeeper to watch growing up was Edwin van der Sar when he was at Manchester United, just because he was like a little bit bigger, he was taller. His positioning was amazing. I just liked like the presence that he had while like he played. You could really tell he was like passionate about what he was doing. And then I guess alongside that would probably be like Manuel Neuer, because he's kind of just like, a little bit of everything, like great on 1v1s, makes big saves, really, really fast reactions, kind of a sweeper keeper, likes to play off his line. I think I probably have watched more Manuel Neuer highlights than any other goalkeeper, just because of how he's able to handle all the different situations and solve all the different problems during a game. Is pretty unique. And he's also just like, he's a little bit bigger. I feel like in terms of like body mechanics, I'm similar to him. And so it's like understanding how he would set for a shot, or how low he would get on 1v1s, or kind of his depth on like the line, kind of helped me find what works best for me.
That makes sense. I mean, to me, Manuel Neuer helped revolutionize the goalkeeper position, because there wasn't a lot of people out there playing the sweeper keeper position, if that's what you want to call it. Definitely two of my favorites. They're both. I'm a Manchester United guy, but Manuel Neuer is also one of the best in the world, so you can't help but appreciate what he does day in and day out.
Mm-hmm. Who's your EPL team, Drake?
I grew up watching Manchester United. Like, I kind of followed my brother's footsteps with that one, because he was more interested in international soccer from a young age, and he was a big Cristiano Ronaldo fan. So I always ended up just watching the games he watched, and then I was like, oh, Edwin van der Sar is pretty sick too. So
yeah, show him the tattoo, Dan. Show him the tattoo.
I don't know if I can get it that far, but
there we go.
Yeah. I got a couple pieces on my wall here too, but
nice.
We're united through and through in this house. But talking back to college, like you had a lot of accolades while you were in college. Do you have one particular memory that you would say would be your best memory from Cal, or it could be even a couple that you would maybe tie together?
In terms of like on the field, or just like Cal, like overall?
I guess why don't you go ahead and give us one on the field and one at Cal overall?
Okay, yeah. I would have to say we played University of Portland my sophomore year at Portland. Great facility, great field, great grass field. It was a little rainy, and Portland had a really, really good squad. And we had it was a 7:00 game. We always liked traveling up north, just because it was like you knew it would be like good competition. We ended up winning 2-1 in overtime. It was golden goal, so it's like we don't do golden goal in the pros, but in college you do golden goal. So his first one to score takes it home.
Yeah, that's an amazing. I didn't know that was a real life thing. I thought that was just a FIFA thing.
Yeah. So it was a golden goal. We ended up winning 2-1. I think I had like 8 or 9 saves. I stopped the PK in like the 90th minute, and it was just one of those. It was like my best performance to date as like a collegiate player. And I just remember like after the game, like our team just like bonded so much, like to like endure an away game, and come out with like a win in overtime was huge. And there was just so much like to learn from during that experience that it helped me build momentum going into the rest of my season. I look at that as like a pivotal moment where I really stepped up to the plate and was able to, I guess, perform like at my best. And yeah, I guess moving into like just like Cal overall, like I can't say there was one memory. It was just like the collective experience of the people that I met, just the environment of like how like the campus is integrated with nature, trees, a lot of like libraries. It's really close to the Berkeley Fire Trails where you can go hiking. And also too, like I was able to live with my best friend growing up, I think during my junior and senior years of college. So it was just really cool to have like a little piece of home and like a good friend with you during like college. And so just overall, it was just, I look back and I feel like I like learned so much. I was exposed to so much new information and like ways of life and like new people. And I made some really, really good relationships, and like the mentors that I had, the coaching staff at Cal was great. Just overall, just top experience. And, I definitely, whenever I make it back to California, normally during the off season, I try and spend a day or two there and just hang out with the people, just like, you know, just kind of just hang out on campus and go to old places used to eat food and see some old friends.
That's an excellent segue to my next question. So although both Florida and Cali have palm trees, beaches, and beautiful climates, what do you miss most about Cali? Like, what is the thing that you have to do every single time you go back home to Sacktown, whether it be a restaurant, a park, a trail, a fun place to go out? What's the must-do thing for Drake Callender when he travels back home?
Well, first and foremost, is just to see my family. You know, they make it out here a few times, but you know, it's just like spending time with like my parents, with my brother. I always go on. There's like this walk I was going with like my mom. It's like this loop that takes you down by like the American River. It's just like a nice like 30-minute walk. We just go on, just kind of talk, just like share space together, and then we go and get lunch at this place called Sunflower. And they have like these really good like nut burgers and nachos and tacos. It's all vegetarian. They have like really good shakes. And it's just like the simple things, you know, just like walks and really, really good food with like my mom. Mm-hmm. And then I guess another thing would just be, I played a lot of disc golf. It's probably one of like my favorite like hobbies, sports to play outside of soccer. In like a non-competitive way, but I've been playing since like I was in like 6th grade.
Well, low risk of injury too, so safe. The coaches are okay with you playing disc golf, I promise.
Yeah, and two is I was playing like a lot of disc golf. There's some really nice courses where I live, and yeah, just like again, like nothing fancy, just kind of just doing the things that I enjoyed doing growing up. It's like spending time outdoors, seeing family. You know, it's always neat going back home because you get to see everything with like a fresh set of eyes. And like you start to realize like, oh, like I would have never thought of this, thought to do this when I was a kid, but now like I can appreciate it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Just like a simple walk with my mom.
Yeah. You mentioned nut burger. I don't know if I've ever seen a nut burger on a menu. What are your eating habits? Are you vegetarian?
I'm a little bit of an omnivore. You know, I've tried eating like vegetarian, vegan, pescatarian, kind of tried everything. And I would say, yeah, I kind of eat everything, but I definitely eat more fruits and plants than meat. I still eat meat, but just overall, a lot of fruits and plants. Like I love smoothies. Mm-hmm. I love like salads, like grain bowls. And then, you know, just like your basic salmon or bison, or there's this place called Wild Fork Foods that has like a lot of like game.
Yeah, it's the frozen place.
Yeah. So it's like nice to try out different things there. But
does that exist in California, or is that just a Florida kind of business?
There's no Wild Fork Foods in California that I know of.
I hear you. For me, it's just bacon's too good to give up. But all right, I like that. I like that. That's a healthy way to approach consuming food, and especially as a professional athlete. Now, you've had a pretty meteoric rise. We do want to ask a little bit about this season. Obviously, not only with the club, the first team, but also in the hearts of La Familia, in the fan base, the community, really starting from that Miami FC game where you really, I think that was the first start you had of the season, if I'm not mistaken, outside of the preseason. Nick and Clement get injured, and now you've got to step up. And how did you handle being thrusted into that spotlight, into the first team? And not only how did you handle that from a mental aspect, but doing so in such an impressive manner?
Yeah, great question. It's like I put in so much work and I do so much preparation to be prepared for moments like this. Like it's not like an easy thing mentally or physically to be in a non-starting position as a goalkeeper. And so when the coaches gave me the nod for the Miami FC game, I was like, all right, like this is a big opportunity to help my team perform well in our first appearance in the U.S. Open Cup. And two, it's like we were playing Miami FC, which is a really good side. It doesn't matter if they're championship or which league they're in, they're a good side. And on any day, anybody can show up and beat anybody. So we knew that we were in for a tough game. I just, again, it's like I could feel the pressure. That there's always pressure. There's always like expectations, but it's like if I'm leaning on all the work that I've done, all the reps, all the meditations, everything that I've done leading up to this point, then like I should have full confidence in myself that I can come out and just play my game and be a leader and trust in just all the work that I put in. And when you do that, you're like, dude, like I've done this thousands of times. Like there's no it's not going to help worrying about, oh, what if this happens, or like what's going to happen during the game. It's just be present with the game and feel it out and believe in your teammates, and don't think too much. Just kind of like react, because you train a lot, and if you just allow yourself to show up in that moment, then you'd be surprised at what you can accomplish. It's like, I've been with the club this is going on like my third year. Mm-hmm. Like, I was on loan with our USL team last year, got some minutes there. And that was really like my first time competing at a pro level. Didn't play any minutes my first year. I know 2020 was a little different with the MLS's back tournament and whatnot, but I felt like, leading up to this moment I'd done pretty much all the preparation you could possibly do. And, I feel like when you work so hard, like at some point, like, you're going to get an opportunity to show what you got. And, I was just in my game that day. And then, that helps you build momentum moving into the next game. And you learn a lot. I learned so much from that Miami game. And like applying what you learn in like the next game, and then going back to work, working hard. It really helped me, I guess, gain a lot of confidence there.
Clearly, because, we move into the month of May, and you just go on an absolute tear. I mean, one of the top keepers in the league, and that's got to feel really good, just having, like you said, all that belief in yourself. And about third way, done with the season, so still a lot of games to play, but you've made an amazing case for yourself as the starting keeper for this team. What goals or achievement have you set for yourself for the remainder of this season?
Well, I would say, again, like, I feel like a goal that I have for myself kind of runs like tandem with like the team. It's like we want to, win the MLS Cup, and we want to be in I guess first and foremost, we want to make playoffs, but yeah, we want to win the MLS Cup. So I just want to be able to perform and help my team win games. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but yeah, if we take it game by game and get the results that are going to help us get into playoffs and we can make a good run. I could think, oh, I want shutouts and this and that, but at the end of the day, it's like I'm a part of a team, and we have to work together if we're going to make it. So just as long as we make playoffs and we're in contention to win league, I think that's a pretty good goal for us and for me too.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think anybody in La Familia would be too upset if we were in the playoff hunt here, and then definitely contending for the league. But, talking about lessons, the club's learned, especially over the past couple of years, and as well as yourself, what would be the biggest lessons learned from the last year or so for you, and how have you implemented them going into this year as you've overtaken the starter spot and helped push the team onward and upward?
Yeah, well, I guess looking at last year, like it was really at like a pro level. It's like I was able to kind of figure out like my process of preparation, and also like just play some games and gain some experience to kind of help me develop into the goalkeeper that I know that I can be. And so I had to go through those games to figure out what warm up I was going to do, what my game day routine was, what my pregame playlist was. And so I think like the biggest lesson would just to be just to like listen to your body, listen to your mind, and also prepare enough to where like when you go out there, you don't have to think about anything else other than what's in front of you. And then in terms of like on the field, I would say just like playing with the ball at like my feet and having confidence in like my passes and like my accuracy. And like I guess I kind of had to learn a lot about positioning and like positional play and like possession, because like our Cal team in college was good, but we played good soccer, but I didn't play out of the back as much as I have at this level. And so I felt just like that was an area that I needed to improve. And so, whether that's playing with our six more, being confident on, hitting long balls and driven balls into our fullbacks and into our nine, and just like understanding when it's okay to play out and when you need to play long, and just like really recognizing like moments of the game and how your decisions can really help your team out with breaking a press or just like relieving a press. And so, yeah, probably that'd be like the biggest lesson, just like, I guess, going through the trials and tribulations of learning to play with my feet, really. I feel like it's helped me a lot this year.
I mean, I think everybody will say that definitely has. There's been a lot more calm presence, especially in recent games where the balls come to the back, and like maybe in past games, especially early on for us, we were still coming together as a team in 2020, there would have been a lot of chaos or just lobbing it straight up. But definitely you can see the work's been put in on your side for the ability to distribute the ball really well. So good work on that.
Thank you. Yeah. And it's still a work in progress. Like I still, like go in, like after a game, I'll do film with like my coaches, and we'll just like get into like the nitty-gritty details of like, all right, like this pass could have been to this foot, or like like how was your vision on this play, like did you see the through pass that we could, I guess, exit out to our center back then to play forward. Like there's a lot of things that I'm still working on, but it's just, again, like not panicking when you get the ball, and just like being calm, and then just like accepting the pressure and then making the decision. Because when pressure comes and space opens up, and you can find places to play through. So overall, I'm getting more confident, and just need to, just make the right decisions at the end of the day.
All right.
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
we've we mentioned this in the beginning, but we've referred to you as the Zen Master, and this is something I think a lot of the fans are very interested in. We hear that meditation, state of mind is a big part of your life. Was this something that was picked up in the recent years, or was this something that was instilled in you at a younger age?
I think it was instilled in me at a younger age. I just wasn't aware of like the language and like the vocabulary and like understanding associated with like being mindful and like meditation. Because again, like I spent a lot of time outdoors, just like no phone, going on strolls through like the forests and like just like sitting by the river. And these are like forms of mindfulness and being aware of yourself and your environment. But I would say like when I got into college, I started, I guess being more intentional with like I guess having like a mindfulness practice. And I would say I had a teammate who started a group called Cal Athlete Led Meditation, and he would lead us through meditations, and like it kind of like opened me up to more of just like the sit in stillness, become aware of the thoughts that are coming in, and get connected to like your breath, which kind of like from there like opened up Pandora's box of like, all right, like what is this, like how does this help our mental health, like how, like just like I was just so curious, and so from that I learned about Wim Hof through a documentary, and meditation and breath work kind of run in tandem, and I was super interested in like his breath work and like breathing, because I was like, oh, this dude can hold his breath for how long, and like he can sit in cold tubs and do all these, I guess, crazy like physical feats and mental feats, and I was so interested. And so in 2020 I just downloaded his Wim Hof app and started doing his breath works, and like over time like I became more aware of like how much we breathe and how your breathing can affect your state of mind and also help you perform on the field. And so it's became a daily, maybe not every day, but like 5 days out of the week, I'm doing some form of mindfulness practice, whether it's breath work, whether it's just sitting in stillness, like meditation. And also in college, I got into yoga. So like going to yoga class helped me just gain more body awareness and like, figure out how the breath and your body can connect through movement was huge. It was a huge step for me to take that helped me become a better athlete and overall just like a more aware human. And I think that these are tools that we can use to understand like what works best for us. Because sometimes I'll be sitting in meditation and like something will come up that I wasn't expecting, and then like for a second I'll have to like just think about it or deal with it, and then eventually it will pass. Mm-hmm. And then I'll come back to the present moment, and like things. It's a good way to kind of like figure out, all right, like what's gonna surface, and then it's like once I'm done meditating, then I can dissect it or talk to somebody about it, and it really helps me deal with a lot of just like thoughts and also just like the pressure that comes with being a pro athlete. And so overall, it's something that has helped me get to where I am today, and something that I'm going to continue to keep doing. I don't know if there's an end goal of like, I want to meditate for however long. It's just something that is beneficial to your mind, and also over time can help you become more aware of what you want to get out of life.
The journey is the destination.
Mm-hmm. Like that.
Yeah, so I'm actually I'm glad you brought up the Wim Hof method, because I'm actually very familiar with the Wim Hof method. As someone who has 2 small kids and I make an hour commute one way, I try to find the peace and Zen time myself as I'm weaving through traffic. But no, I joke, but I do know like the benefits of it. So I guess my question regarding Wim Hof and your your Zen practice as a goalkeeper, how would you best say that the Wim Hof has helped you increase your ability to be a goalkeeper or increased your awareness around you in certain pressure situations?
Great question. Love this question because I think about this all the time. Like, I do the Wim Hof for a reason, and a lot of it is it's like stress tolerance. Like it's the deep breathing for 40 or 50 breaths, and then like followed by like a breath hold, where like when you lose your breath, that's like an immediate signal for stress. And so I think of it as like, all right, like the longer I can hold my breath, the more I can be okay with feeling that feeling of stress. And so I'm changing how I'm thinking and feeling about stressful situations. And when you're in a game, you have a lot of pressure on you and you have a guy sprinting at you with a ball and you're like, all right, like what do I do? In that moment, I'm not panicking. I'm more focused on what's right in front of me, or focused on what's in front of me. And I'm not like, okay, like this is, I'm not getting like that feeling of like fear. It's more like calm, And so that's where I think like the breath work helps. And then also I do like full body cold plunges because he's into like he like chops through ice and jumps in. I'm like, I'm not at that level yet. I'm more like I can get into like 40-degree water and stand there for about like 5 minutes. It's kind of like what I have experienced in terms of how cold and how long. Like I don't really do more than 5 minutes, but also too just like the mental process that I guess occurs when you put yourself into an uncomfortable situation, like freezing cold water. Because the first thing you do is take a deep breath. And when you get in freezing cold water, it's like easy to panic. But again, in that moment, it's like, can I control my breath and can I sit with this feeling long enough to where I'm not associating with it being something bad, but something that can help me become more aware of my body and my mind. And so when I do the cold plunges and like the breath work, I'm learning about like those triggers of stress and fear and like uncomfortability. And that's helping me build a higher tolerance to deal with more pressure when I play soccer.
That makes sense. No, that makes a lot of sense.
I had to Google this. I was like mind blown when I saw it because I was, we were sharing questions. I was like, what? Well, I don't even know what that is. So I typed in and I was like, this dude is crazy.
So to piggyback off that, do you think you'll ever get to the point where you're walking through snow barefoot with no shirt on, looking like the Hulk out in the blizzard? Or you think you're just stick with where you're at?
I do want to experience that, I think like, yeah, at the moment, like all I really have access to is our cold tub at the facility. But, like when I was back home for this off season, like me and my good friend, we would go down to the American River. That's like rushing water. It's like snow runoff from the Sierras, and we would get in there and it was like difficult, but after we felt so good. And it's like just like finding that edge and then going a little bit further. I think I just like that, seeing kind of how far you can go. And so that's definitely like at some point, if I can make it out to, somewhere where I can immerse myself in cold weather and go on like a cold mountain hike like Wim does, that would be awesome.
You have to be Canada. You're in the wrong region of the country for anything cold.
I got an idea. You go to the New York City game, and then we can go up to the Adirondacks. I'll take you up near Canada, back where my old stopping grounds are.
Yeah, he's from like backwoods, northern New York. He's your guy to talk to.
We'll do we'll be like a couple Vikings walking around the woods up there. We'll make some noise. But it's awesome to see that you're doing all of that. So have you tried to take that and incorporate it with other players on the team, or are other players approaching you saying, hey, Drake, we see what you're doing and it's working. Can you help me?
It's I wouldn't say it's like guys are asking for help. It's more just like, hey, it's like, I'm kind of interested. I kind of want to join in, not yet with the cold tub. I've had a couple guys see me in there. They're like, yeah, this dude's crazy. But I got a couple guys have gone full body with me. But we do like group meditations after practice. And so I kind of make that available to anybody who wants to. Normally, like we get anywhere from like 5 to like 10 guys who come and do like a 10-minute meditation, whether it's through the Headspace app. And then I have this like crystal singing bowl that I'll ring for like 5 minutes afterwards.
Like the Om Bowl?
It's like it has like this little like mallet, and you do this, and it like the sound vibrates and gets louder and louder, and so it's like a nice little a nice little like cherry on top to a meditation. And after like we'll hang out for like 5-10 minutes, talk about what came up, how we're feeling, and it's just definitely helped us create more bonds off the field. Has helped us communicate better, has helped us just spend time together. And for the guys who aren't necessarily wanting to sit in stillness and listen to like a meditation, it's like we'll go on walks around the training field barefoot and just do some grounding where we can just chat, just enjoy each other's presence. I know it's nice being able to connect with your teammates in different ways, and it just helps the relationship grow and overall helps us perform better.
Now, I've heard that DeAndre and Damien are also, pretty big into that. Who are the typical crew that come to those post-training mind sessions?
DeAndre's super tapped in. Damien's tapped in. Damien doesn't necessarily come to our like meditation ones. He comes for like the walks, which is also another form of meditation. But yeah, the crew is normally like me, DeAndre, Ame Mabika, Ryan Saylor, Georgia Costa comes, Campana comes, who else? Harvey Neville, Indiana. I don't want to miss anyone. Sometimes our coaches will come, like our strength coach Tom will come, Julian will come, my goalie coaches have come, Chris McVeigh. We get a pretty good group that shows up, and that we try to make it a daily practice. Sometimes guys are maybe they're in some other form of like recovery, whether it's like a massage, compression pants, bike. And so I normally give like a shout. We give like shouts. All right, meditation at this time, and if you can make it come. And so it's a good little, team bonding experience, and also culture building. And it's something that has helped me build more of a relationship with my back line. Because if you think about it, it's like, all right, Damien, Chris, DeAndre, May, Ryan, like these are guys that, I'm communicating with during the game. And then also like, we have to be on like the same page during a lot of those moments. So overall, it's been a really good experience.
That's a very good point, actually. That is that makes a lot of sense too. That's awesome. So walk us through your game day preparation. More from that kind of meditated or mental state.
Gotcha. Yeah. So game day preparation. Let's say it's a home game, and our game's at 8:00, since most of them are at 8:00.
If they don't get delayed.
Yeah. Oh God. It's I normally wake up around 6:45, 7:00, do 4 rounds of Wim Hof, and then I'll try and get outside. I normally go on like a little bike ride, like a little 10-20 minute bike ride or a walk with my girlfriend. Come back, make breakfast, put on some good music. Sometimes I'll listen to my game day playlist before I even get into like game mode, just to kind of like, I don't know. I like house music, classical, like techno, electric. So it's nice to just kind of get like the vibes up. And then eat a nice healthy breakfast. I might watch some soccer, since it's normally on like the weekend, or just review some highlights of myself or of other goalkeepers like Manuel Neuer, just to get the visualization in. And I'll normally take like a pre-game nap around like 1 or 2 o'clock. Wake up, and I'll have like lunch and like my probably like a smaller lunch and like a bigger pregame meal around like 3:30, 4 o'clock. And then I'll normally like fit in maybe like 30 minutes of reading. Just like with like my legs up. Sometimes I'll read out loud to kind of work on like my voice and kind of get like my voice warmed up, because it's hard to I guess communicate with La Familia cheering as loud as you guys can. But yeah, it's a pretty chill day. It's just like, in the past it was hard to not think about the game, and now it's like, all right, just like again, when I practice meditation, it helps me access the present moment quicker and more fluidly. So it's like just being here now is kind of like one of the sayings that I like just to like remind myself of, because it helps me not think about what's to come. And if I'm just able to just get through my day and not have any performance anxiety, and if I do, then like make time to feel it out and let it pass, great. But for the most part, it's just, again, conserving your energy, and like structuring your day, so then when the game comes, it's like you have built up this momentum and this energy to where you can perform at your best. And so again, probably get to the facility around like 5:30 or 6 o'clock, greet everybody, chat it up, kind of hang out with like the guys in like the training room, and then we'll have our pregame meeting. Some days we'll even do like a meditation before our meeting. So we have he's like a mental strength coach, like sports psychologist. His name's Fahim. He'll come and do like an in-person led meditation that's specific to like the game and like performance. And so normally, because it's a little bit earlier, we'll have less guys. Normally that group is like me, Ryan, DeAndre, Leo, sometimes Chris, and George. And so he'll run us through like a little 5 to 8 minute meditation session that kind of grounds us in this point in time, and like uses mantras like my time, game time, or like locking in, to kind of, I guess, help us mentally be prepared for what's to come. And that's also very helpful. And then, once you finish the team meeting, me in the weight room, walk over. That's normally when I put in my headphones and start my playlist. And then from that point, you get to like a locker room, run through like 5 or 6 songs, do my activation, and then you're ready to go. So
awesome. That was detailed. I appreciate you sharing that much. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. And I mean, I really think about it. It's like, it's definitely helped me, like, I don't know, just like appreciate like the process, because these are something that I'm comfortable with sharing, of course, but also it's like, it's not like, it's just kind of like what I do. It kind of helps me understand it more. Like maybe me sharing that with you next time, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'll try this next time, or maybe I'll add little things in, because it definitely helps my awareness of like the timing. I think timing is huge with everything. So thanks for letting me share that, because now when the next game day comes around, I'm like, all right, stick to my process, but also it's like I'm always looking for ways to improve.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the Wim Hof method, you have the Zen Master preparation, then you'll be thinking of us, and you'll have the Inter Miami podcast effect on your game to day preparations. So, yeah, absolutely. So you were talking about La Familia and how loud they get and how pumped they get as you guys are out in the field, going down the field. We're putting the other team to the screws. Besides Drive Pink Stadium, because I mean, we all know that's number one in our hearts. What would you say is the best stadium you've played in at any point in your career so far? What would be your favorite?
Thus far, I would say, I mean, playing at Philly was pretty cool. I like their stadium setup. Their fans weren't too harsh. I got some you sucks and go back home. Nothing that was really
That's actually pretty friendly. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. And so Philly. I like playing at Philly because he had like the bridge in the background. The pitch quality was great. But I remember I traveled to my rookie year. I traveled to Red Bull, and that stadium was like, from what I remember, was pretty sick. And so I'm kind of looking forward to playing there. Pitch was also great from what I can remember. And also too, like Red Bull's such a fun game to be in. So I think all that will add to just the overall game experience. And too, it's like I have to give credit to Charlotte. Like the Charlotte atmosphere was crazy. Like great fan show out. It's big stadium. It's something you always like look forward to being a pro, is like all the fans, like the stadium, the atmosphere. I mean, of course, nothing compares to DraCo Stadium, because there is a feeling when you have La Familia behind you, like you're kind of like unstoppable.
It's relentless.
And yeah, yeah. And so it's other stadiums are great. I played in some good atmospheres this year, but thus far, I felt the most confident and like strong when I'm at DraCo Stadium.
Well, I'm glad you didn't take too much of a beating in Philly, because my son and I were definitely the only two pinks in a sea of blue, and we definitely heard about it. It was. I'm glad you came out unscathed. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
no, I joke. Union fans are great. Subaru Park's great. But okay, so you've touched on the ones you've played in. What stadium are you looking most forward to playing in that you haven't necessarily been to yet?
Well, okay, so I've been to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but I haven't played there. So it's like, that's our next game. I mean, I've been there before during our game last year. I'm kind of looking forward to that game. I'm trying to think, what other away games do we have?
I can tell you right now if you want.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think Atlanta. Also, Atlanta's a really good team, and Mercedes-Benz Stadium, like their atmosphere with like the train horn and everything is pretty interesting. But yeah.
Is there a massive difference between going from grass to a turf pitch in terms of being a keeper? Does the ball skirt a little faster, or is there anything that you need to focus on when you're going into a turf arena?
Yeah, I mean, personally, like as long as I have like maybe a session on turf before we play on turf, I'll be good. But even if not, like, I don't think it's too much different from grass. As like a goalkeeper, yeah, if it's wet, the ball might skip a little bit more. Maybe the turf's a little thicker, so you have to pass a little bit harder. But I mean, I grew up playing on turf, and I think at this level, it's adaptability is huge. So whether it's grass or turf, it's like if you just kind of stick to your game plan, stick to your technique, you'll be okay. There's little adjustments you'll have to make, maybe in terms of like maybe the ball sits higher on grass or is a little flatter on turf, but overall, I definitely slide farther on turf when I dive. I'm not sure if that has an effect, but also
burns
too,
a little more too.
I will say, like, I wear metal studs on grass, so you can dig in more. But I've still felt when I play on turf when we were at Charlotte, I still felt mobile, still felt versatile, like quick, like didn't have any problems with my footing. So overall, like, I'm just gonna show up grass, turf, and I'm gonna ball out. That's kind of like my mentality.
Yeah, I mean that's all we can expect at this point because you've definitely been balling out over the past few weeks. Talking about balling out, and you've already touched on stadiums that you've enjoyed playing in. Are you excited as much as I know Jay and myself are for this Barcelona friendly coming up? I mean, I would have to imagine you are, especially with all the the legends that have come from that club.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge game. Anytime you have the chance to play against a world-class team, it'd be pretty cool because I mean, these are really, really good players and we'll be able to play at home. And it's just you're getting exposure to a different style of play, you're getting exposure to a different level of play. And also it'll just be a good challenge for us as a group. I know that's a midweek game, so I'm interested to see it's kind of how we handle that, just because it will be in I guess close to a month now. But overall, super excited. I mean, it's a once. I mean, thus far, I mean, I've never had the opportunity to play against Barcelona, so I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure all my other teammates are. And yeah, we'll be used to the humidity by then, so we might have an advantage there. But overall, yeah, I mean, it's going to be sick. It's Barcelona.
I think we're going to see the first sell out game at Drive Pink. So this will be an exciting, just kind of historical day for Inter Miami. This is going to be a really good time. We've kept you here for much, much longer than we initially told you we were. So we'll kind of just run through speed round here to wrap this up. But what is your favorite thing to do in South Florida outside of your profession?
Probably to spend time at the beach. I mean, I grew up, it was more forest and stuff. So when we went to the beach, it was always cold. So, being able to enjoy the warm sun and nice warm water is nice. And two, just again, it's pretty simple. I go on a lot of bike rides. I go to Hugh Taylor Birch State Park, go on a lot of nature walks there. Eat good food. Yeah, I'm pretty mellow guy, really. Don't really go out that much. When I do, it's probably to the store to get groceries. And just overall, kind of just I get all the stimulus from soccer and games. So when I'm not there, I kind of just like to be chill.
Yeah, well, Publix is a magical place, so every Floridian holds Publix dear to their heart. All right, here we go. $1 million is on the line. Your fate is in your teammate's hand to convert a PK. Who on the team are you definitely not picking? Does anyone have 2 metal toasters for feet?
Who am I not gonna pick? I mean, everyone has pretty good PKs, even the goalkeepers. I would say probably McVeigh. I love Chris McVeigh, but I'm gonna throw him under the bus on this one because I haven't seen him take many PKs, and I don't know. Nothing against my guy McVeigh, but. Yeah,
I respect you for completing the answer and not not trying to kind of shake out of it there. That's good though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Chris. I mean, I still love you, but that's pretty harsh. No, I'm playing. So, Drake, who would you say is the craziest teammate to travel with on road games? Who's the guy who's gonna want to go out and do the most stuff, or maybe go out and check out the town, or something like that?
Well, I mean, normally, whenever we arrive after a flight, get to the hotel, we normally go on a walk. A group of guys will go on a walk. I mean, everyone's kind of interested in where we're staying and where we're at, because for some guys, the first time they've been there, that was my first time in Philly. when we went to Philly. So I was like, all right, like I kind of want to see what's going on. But I would say like the craziest guy, just overall on travel trips from just like being around, probably Grigori. He's always like, he's like, just part of his like personality. He's always like laughing and like and I guess enjoying the meals and good vibes. So I probably have to give it to him.
All right, so settle this debate because this has been one that we've been having since last season. Just because announcers say it different. Is it Grigori? Is it Gregory? Is it Gregor? What would he want everyone to call him? Because not every American is great with pronunciations of names from other countries.
He gets called all three. Like some coaches, some of our staff will call him Gregor. Some will call him Grigori. Some will call him Greg. I just call him Greg, but
Greg, I like that.
I think he's cool with all three. Like it's never, if I were to use all three, he'd respond to all of them. So
okay, so he's pretty chill, pretty laid back. I like that.
Yeah,
I forget which USL game it was, but I think they actually gave him a fourth one too. I want to say it was like GRGORE or something. It was Gurgry.
Yeah.
Oh.
Something like that.
I was low key hoping it was Grigor, just from like being a Game of Thrones fan.
Yeah.
But all right. So, where is there a shrine you built in your house? Is there where are you going to be housing or keeping all these Man of the Match trophies that you've won already, and then I'm sure you're going to accrue some more throughout the season?
They're just in my closet.
Oh.
It's funny because it's like great to get Man of the Match and all that, but it's like, I mean, I think my team performs great. It's like we win those games, so it's like I don't think it lands on one person or one player, and like it's gonna be more Man of the Matches. There's gonna be a Man of the Match each game, so like whoever it is, like great, like you did well, but overall it's like again like the team. It's like a team effort, So I am actually interested in. I want to design a Man of the Match ball. So
They're really cool, I will say.
Yeah. The art on them is super cool, and I'm into like drawing and stuff. So I'm gonna see if I can design one, and hopefully, whoever gets it will have a special.
Yeah, kind of 101. Maybe you can help us design the Copa del Sol trophy that I want to pass back and forth with Orlando throughout the season, depending on who's holding the bragging right. So
okay.
I might reach out to you for that. But look, really appreciate the time. I mean, this has gone over an hour. I completely misled you. I apologize. You've been a good sport, super down to earth, super humble. Cannot thank you enough for coming on, man.
Yeah, no, this was awesome. Like you guys giving me the opportunity to kind of share some of my story is huge. And you guys asked a lot of really good questions. Like I was able to, visit some areas of my life that, like maybe just normal to me, but to someone like that may be able to help them, or, maybe they get interested in something. And, I'm always, I like giving back in some way, shape or form. And, you guys having a platform like this is huge to where, I could, talk about just like really myself, and also like just like life and soccer and all these things. So this is awesome. Thank you guys.
We know the fans are going to love it, but go ahead, Dan. I know you want to say bye.
Yeah. No, again, thanks, Drake, for coming on. We really appreciate you coming on and spending your valuable free time with us. The fans are definitely going to enjoy the insight into your life and more into the Zen Master persona that we've helped push a little bit here. But no, really, thank you very much.
That edit was awesome, dude. I'm about to set that as like my screensaver soon. So cool.
I told you you'd like it. I told you.
I'll have to bring you one of these kits that we designed for the podcast that Dan is wearing. I'll have to bring you one because you've been such a good sport and hanging out for so long.
I've seen those. I'm like, dude, those are sick. Like, can we get one of those? Maybe we can do like a little jersey trade or something.
Hey, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm unfortunately going to be out of town for the rest of the games this month, but we'll coordinate that. Yeah, I got you one. I got a pink one and a white one. We'll figure that out. Again, thank you so much for all the time. The fans are going to love this. You've been an absolute. It's been a pleasure to have you on, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. Good stuff. This is Drake Callender, and you've been listening to the Inter Miami Podcast.